What's up, Zombie Talk 123 here on Fantasy Baseball 123. Sports Talk 123 and I have kind of worked really hard to get this channel going. Well, mainly him, but I've put some ideas out there. And then also for the league, we're trying to get it started. Well, not started. It's been up for a year. Last year we had a pretty inactive year. The first few months of the off season were great. The first few weeks of the summer were great, and then no one really got on, and we definitely want to change that. And there's many active owners, but if you'd be an active owner and you want to be in a fantasy baseball league, please message this channel, and we'll hook you up. Just give us your email, and we'll set you up with a good team. So there's like 3 or 4 available. So we're gonna look at what happened last night. There's been a lot of trades that we will make a video, probably a joint video with MLB Talk 123, me and Sports Talk 123 on this channel. We'll probably make a joint video about every trade that's happened and a quick analysis at what do the teams look like now compared to before. So you're looking at last night into today here. As we went in the early morning, there were some trades happening. We were on last night. I think 3 or 4 owners were on. It kind of got busy, and we started, getting some traction on some deals that were happening. And I think some owners really felt like, okay, for some owners, it was the first time getting on in the start of the off season, and they had some trade targets that were very interesting, new trade targets for myself and Sports Talk 123's team, and Grant's team, which is MP3G's, and I believe Sons of Pitches, and then Team Cardinals myself. So, when No One Likes Jeters, that's the name of the team, when he got online, we kind of all got this kind of excitement going on, because all of a sudden you have guys like Matt Holliday, Hunter Pence, Lance Berkman, Yvonne Gallardo, and more guys like that. He has a really solid team, had a pretty good record last year, and to have that available, finally get on someone new, I think it was exciting. So let's look at his record last year. He was 12-8, which was pretty decent at the end of the season on a 1-game win streak. And a few trades started to happen last night. Later, I think when they first started happening at around 11 o'clock. At 11:45, this trade was accepted. The first trade, I was really working hard to get a guy like Matt Holliday, because this is why I acquired him. Is because I really wanted him. He was an interesting trade target because, number one, he's a prime outfielder, and outfield usually doesn't have much depth, but my outfield does. My outfield includes Andrew McCutchen, Justin Upton, Mike Stanton, Alex Gordon, and Matt Holliday. I think I had the best outfield in fantasy baseball this league, maybe second to the All-Studs, which have Jacoby Ellsbury and Matt Kemp, and Ryan Braun, who will serve a 50-game suspension. If he wasn't serving the suspension, it would be nowhere even close. He would definitely have the best outfield. I think I have the best young outfield. And actually, I've been looking at my team, and I said, I have a lot of young players, and trading that Prince Fielder trade, I kind of regret now. It was Prince Fielder for Freddie Freeman and Michael Pineda, and I didn't really need pitching, and Freddie Freeman is not as good as Prince Fielder. And, he could develop into those type of numbers, but for right now, I probably could have got a better position player for Prince Fielder than just Freddie Freeman. So, and now I'm trying to trade off Michael Pineda because I don't need the pitching. So, it happened. It's a trade that I threw out there, and it was accepted, and I'm okay with that. I can deal with it. But I think, I don't need to just focus on the age. I do have a club policy, no players over the age of 31, 32. Because of the fact that, those are starting to get in the declining years of someone's career. For some guys it's the prime years, but other guys I think it might be declining. If I stay under 30, I think my team will be very good, and if they get above 30, I can max out on their trade value, get some young guys, and keep going that way. So for right now, that's kind of the stance I'm taking. But why I wanted to acquire Matt Holliday, it's easy. He's right in his prime. He had an off year last year because of injury. But I think he's going to put up MVP-type numbers next year. I have a really good hunch about him batting in the 3rd spot for the Cardinals. Has a great on-base percentage. I think he'll just drive in a ton of runs, get a lot of runs, a ton of hits. He's a hitting machine, and I think he's going to have a really healthy and fantastic year next year. So he's obviously a number 1 choice. Then I looked at his team, and I see Yvonne Gallardo. He's, again, under 30 years old. He's an ace. He had tons of points last year. His average per start was fantastic. And I'm thinking, okay, my number one trade bait right now is James Shields because he just turned 30 and he had a great year, absolutely fantastic year last year. And I actually traded him for pretty much nothing. I think I dropped him actually last year because, I picked him up in the draft in like the 23rd round, and I dropped him, and it was a worst mistake ever. He had a fantastic year last year, but I won the World Series, so it didn't matter. But, James Shields, he had a fantastic year last year. I mean, no doubt about it. He's an ace. But coming back, I really don't know. He's been kind of inconsistent in his career. He had 2 good years in a row, one not very good year, had a fantastic year this year. So I expect him to have a really good year next year, but I just don't really want to take that risk. And I would rather see Yvonne Gallardo in my rotation. It's more fulfilling to me. I think it's something that I can rely on than seeing James Shields. So I think that this trade, I was able to acquire Matt Holliday and Yvonne Gallardo. I'm very excited about. So from my perspective, my outfield is even deeper now. I can use Matt Holliday in the left field spot and Alex Gordon in the utility spot, which is exactly how I wanted this to go because I didn't want to have to use a guy like Danny Valencia in my utility spot. I'd rather use Alex Gordon, who had a fantastic year last year, a young guy, 650 points last year. If he is consistent, has another good year, you're looking at, one of the best utility guys you can possibly get out there. If I can max out on trade value of him, yes, I will trade him because I'm not 100% confident in him. But, if he puts up another good year, right around 600 points, I will happily put him in the utility spot for years to come. So, you have him there. You add a guy like Matt Holliday, no doubt about it, starting lineup, and a great ad for me. Yvonne Gallardo fits right in my starting 5, and I still have 2 pitchers left over from that. I'm going to have Matt Moore, and I'm going to have most likely either Michael Pineda or I have one other starter. I can't remember. But I'm going to have to trade away Michael Pineda because I can't fit all of them in my keepers. So I'm going to have to make some moves definitely before the draft. I have a long time before that. But the deal was with No One Likes Jeter, or Packers is his little slash name, he traded Matt Holliday and Yvonne Gallardo, 2, all-star, great guys right in their prime, for Victor Martinez, good pickup there, Ben Zobrist, and James Shields. Now, looking at the trade, I think it could be looked as a little, not unfair, but from my perspective, I think I did give up a little bit too much looking at it. I mean, Ben Zobrist to me was expendable because I had a second baseman, Dustin Ackley. I acquired him in a trade for Troy Tulowitzki, actually. I'm surprised I even traded Troy Tulowitzki, and now I want him back. But Ben Zobrist to me, yes, he put up fantastic numbers. He's right in his prime. So I don't understand why not many teams are really interested in him. I've been trying to shop him around in deals and trying to tell really how valuable this guy is. I mean, he was a second baseman for me that I basically got for free. I get him in a deal where I traded Albert Pujols and I get Delman Young, Jason Worth, and Ben Zobrist and another guy, and I'm just like, wow, it was a great deal for me. Delman Young ended up doing nothing, but I maxed out on trade value for him. Then Ben Zobrist was fantastic for me. He was like the second or third best second baseman out there. Also, he's eligible for right field, so I think that's what sold him. He needed an outfielder. I had Ben Zobrist, who's eligible for the outfield, put up fantastic numbers. He even put up better numbers than Holliday last year. And do I think that Holliday will put up better numbers than him this year? Yes, I do. And also, he doesn't really fit in my long-term plan. So I wanted to find a deal for him, and I felt like if I was able to acquire Matt Holliday, that's a perfect deal to send Ben Zobrist. And I think it would have been a better deal for me if I would have just gave up, Ben Zobrist and James Shields, because James Shields had a better year than Yvonne Gallardo, and Ben Zobrist had a better year than Matt Holliday. But value-wise, and that Yvonne Gallardo is younger than James Shields, Matt Holliday is younger than Ben Zobrist by a little bit. I think that, adding Victor Martinez is not a deal breaker at all. Actually, the deal started with Victor Martinez because he was really interested in him, and he's always been interested in him. Now, I wish that I would have somehow made a deal to get Hunter Pence. I couldn't get the right deal together. I offered him, I thought it was a fair trade. So first of all, that trade happened. Now, what it does for No One Likes Jeter or Pack, it does a lot of things for them. Number one, you're getting an ace in James Shields. And yes, I had an ace in Yvonne Gallardo. James Shields had a better year. He could have a better year next year. you're replacing Giovanni Gallardo and getting a little better. And what I mean by you have to replace Giovanni Gallardo, because to me, Giovanni Gallardo has to be in the deal. And to get Giovanni Gallardo in the deal, I have to give up Victor Martinez. So it goes back and forth. It circulates. It all works together. So for him to be able to get Victor Martinez to improve his catching position, he had Russell Martin, and he's always been interested in Victor Martinez. So for him to be able to get Victor Martinez, he had to give up Giovanni Gallardo. For him to have to give up Giovanni Gallardo, he had to get James Shields. And then, you look at Matt Holliday, and I gave up Ben Zobrist. So you're looking at the deal, and it works. I think it's a pretty fair deal on both sides. It helps me a lot because, number one, my outfield is even deeper and even better now. Ben Zobrist wasn't in my starting lineup where I had him. He was going to probably be in the utility spot, if anything. But I love my outfield, and I love my starting lineup a lot better now with Holliday in left field, and you push Gordon to the utility spot. I like it a lot. And then I have Stanton and Upton and McCutchen. And then I've been really working hard to acquire, Carlos Gonzalez, and it hasn't happened. Cargo is such a high price for him, and I've made very fair deals, and it hasn't happened, and it's frustrating. So then, after that deal is over, I am trying to also acquire Hunter Pence from the same team. And the thing was with me is, I have a good friend who's helped me a lot with fantasy baseball when I first got started, and he has a team. It's the All Studs. And he's like, you can't just rely on your young guys. They might not, compete. They might not do as well as you think. And I'm thinking to myself, I have a lot of young talent, not a lot of trade baits, and I won the World Series. I need to make this a for sure winning team, and I need to have guys I can count on, and I need to get guys in their prime. I have the resources. Why don't I go out and get an all-star team? Instead of having younger guys like Freddie Freeman, I could have Prince Fielder right now, and I would be a lot better off, maybe. But I've chose to go the young route, and it started with last year when I had terrible draft picks. I made terrible decisions on trades, and I started getting better, and I started getting a feel for it. And I realized this is my goal. I'm going to build a young team to last a dynasty, and it's a dynasty league. So for me to have young players like Matt Wieters, I just acquired him today for a draft pick. I gave up 2 draft picks. He gave up 1, and Matt Wieters, I felt like that was a good deal. He hit 22 home runs. I only expect him to get better. A ton of talent with him. And right now he's not my starting catcher because I still have Mike Napoli. But, I think I'll probably trade Mike Napoli at some point in this offseason. I just don't feel 100% comfortable. If I could get a younger catcher who's been more consistent, I think I'd be much better. But Mike Napoli had a great year last year, no doubt about it. So I acquired Matt Wieters, so that definitely goes with my plan of staying young. But also, I acquired Matt Wieters not just because of that. If I wanted to stay young, I could just go and sign Wilson Ramos as a free agent. I wanted to make sure I had a solid, huge talent to back up my catcher. Just in case I do trade Mike Napoli and don't get a catcher in return, I can put Matt Wieters in there. So, you're looking at a deal. I was trying to get Hunter Pence. I was willing to give up a guy like Mike Stanton. I was willing to give up a guy like Andrew McCutchen. I was willing to give up a pitcher like Brandon Beachy. My initial offer was Alex Gordon, Brandon Beachy, and a draft pick for Hunter Pence. The draft pick would have been, I think it was a 23rd round, and the draft started at 21st, goes to 25th. I had extra draft picks. You only need 5 because you start with 20 keepers. You end up with 25 on your roster. You can also add free agents after that. Free agent pool is usually pretty good. So, at times. So, for me, I needed to get this deal done, and it would totally complete my outfield. If I trade Mike Stanton and Brandon Beachy in a draft pick, yeah, that would hurt a little, giving away some young talent there. And Mike Stanton might have a better year than Hunter Pence next year. He might. But right now, I would rather have Hunter Pence in my outfield, most likely. Actually, I was trying to center the deal around McCutchen. But, I just couldn't get... No, wait. I wasn't... Never mind. I wasn't centering around Stanton. I was centering around Gordon because he was expendable for me. Totally expendable. And I was thinking, how good would my outfield be if I had Hunter Pence? I would have Justin Upton. I would have Hunter Pence. I would have Matt Holliday. And I'd have Mike Stanton. And Andrew McCutchen. Okay, now there's too many people here. No, but I mean, my outfield would be absolutely fantastic. You could use some at utility, in the outfield spot, and 3 spots there. So I was trying to get Hunter Pence, so I offered Alex Gordon, who had, I think, even a better year than Hunter Pence last year, points-wise, maybe the same. Brandon Beachy, he averaged like 16 points per start. Fantastic young pitcher, and I think he'll have an amazing career. I really do. So that was it would be hard to part with him, but I still have a guy like Michael Pineda, and then a draft pick for Hunter Pence, and I think that was a fair deal. But he ended up trading Hunter Pence to Sons of Pitches or Sports Talk 123's team for. He made a blockbuster here by trading Josh Hamilton and James Loney for Hunter Pence and Matt Wieters.